You're listening to the Behind the Booth podcast with DJ iSizzle, where music, weddings, and unforgettable stories come to life. And now your host, DJ iSizzle.
What's going on, my fan sizzles? It is DJ iSizzle. Welcome to Behind the Booth with me, DJ iSizzle. It is an honor to have you guys with me today. Thank you so much for joining me on today's podcast. We got a lot of great things to go through. But before we get to that, we're going to do 5 questions. So let's get to the 5 questions.
5 questions for DJ iSizzle. Tell us about you, DJ iSizzle.
What is my favorite late night snack after an event? I'm going to say I really like mac and cheese. If it's just a regular event and not a wedding, I'll always go to mac and cheese as a late night snack. It's so good. Or actually, I like popcorn as well. So popcorn or macaroni and cheese. What an odd combo of snacks to have. But you know, it is late night after a show. You get really like emotionally high off of the energy and just listening to music and partying with people. So yeah, if I could headline a festival anywhere in the world, where would it be? I would say, boy, there's so many good festivals out there. I would say the Daisy Carnival in Las Vegas. That's a really cool Electric Daisy. That is such a cool festival. What's the last concert I attended as a fan? That is a good question. Last concert I attended as a fan. This is kind of funny. I went to Muckleshoot and my girlfriend, she got me free tickets to Color Me Bad. And I was like, let's go to Color Me Bad. This was like 7 or 8 years ago. So Color Me Bad was popular in the 90s. This is Color Me Bad in the 2010s. And they had actually lost, like one of the members decided they didn't want to keep touring with them or something. And the lead singer, like he had actually doubled in size. Like he used to be really super skinny back in the 90s, but he'd like doubled his size since then. And one of his jokes was, well, you wonder where the other member of Color Me Bad is. I ate him. And everybody was like kind of laughing. So I don't know. It was a fun show. Nonetheless, it was fun to hear I Want to Sex You Up and All for Love and I Adore Mia Moore and a couple other random ones and a couple new songs. So it was a good time. I guess I'm a fan of Color Me Bad. I like 90s music. So it was a fun time. What song do I play to boost my mood? It's not the greatest song alive. Well, actually, no, there's 2 songs that I go to. I go to Disturbed. Oh, I go to that song, Down with the Sickness. And it's such a cheesy song, but POD back in the day, I used to listen to POD all the time and their song Alive. For some reason, I like to just put that song on and I feel so alive for the very first time. So for some reason, those songs just pump me up and they just get me in a great mood. What's one DJ trick I wish every couple knew about? Oh, you know what? I don't think it's necessarily a DJ trick, but it's more of like, this is your wedding, so make it your wedding. Like, just because there's a format for weddings doesn't mean you have to follow that format every time. So do something unique to who you are as a couple. So whether that be you like a classical song together and you want to dance to it in front of everyone for your grand entrance, I say absolutely go for it. So maybe that's a DJ trick because that gets people a little bit hyped up too. The couple coming out to a classical track, like, whoa, what's going on here? So yeah. All right. Now that we warmed it up, let's go on to the first segment, Wedding Reality Check.
Wedding Reality Check. What do you recommend, DJ iSizzle?
Picture this. It's an outdoor wedding. It's June, July, August in the Northwest. And all of a sudden, just before the first dance, the clouds come rushing in. We'll call them rain clouds. And then total downpour. Luckily, you're under a tent, but it's just downpour and it's getting kind of cold. Your guests are getting a little, I think maybe it's time for us to go. And you're like, we're only halfway there. This happened to me. And what we did, Pepsi and myself, we pivoted for the couple. Because the couple was like, oh no, we did not expect this. We were not expecting rain in June. But they're like, oh, is it over? And I was like, you know what? I can move my gear into the barn. And we can keep this going. We can do your first dance. We can do all the special moments. We'll just have everybody surround you, come out to the barn, and we'll make it happen there. So Within about 15 minutes, I had everything set up. Music was playing again, nice background music. And then I said, all right, guys, let's bring everybody in. Let's go ahead and circle the couple. We put on Perfect by Ed Sheeran. You looked around, you could see people like tearing up a little bit. The windows, you could see the rain like dripping down them. It was actually like super romantic and it kind of felt like a movie. It really did feel like a scene from a movie. And that's just something I would say, like, as a takeaway from the event is that, like, as a vendor, it's okay to pivot. You know, it's okay to move your gear if you have to as a DJ, you know? Like, don't be like, no, I don't move my gear for anyone. The night's over. Like, no, this is a wedding. This is the most important day of your couple's lives, and you have to treat it that way. And if you gotta, ooh, I gotta move my speakers and stuff one more time up there. Like you don't move your speakers around anyways. Like that's what you do as a DJ. You're mobile. You move around. You put your equipment in different venues, and that's what you do. So I told the couple right away. I said, "Don't worry about it. Don't panic. I got you." I text Pepsi. I was like, "Pepsi, I'm gonna need your help. We got to move it up into the barn. We're gonna set up." And then we set up, got all hooked up, and we started playing, and everything was saved. And we continued to party the rest of that night. So, and the couple actually, they left me a really nice review later. They were like, "You saved our wedding. Thank you so much, DJ iSizzle." So, always remember to pivot, 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 pivot.
Dance Floor Diaries. Tell us more, DJ iSizzle.
So, you have a crowd, a wedding crowd. And guess what? They don't want to quit. They want to just keep the party going. They trust you as a DJ. You're dropping every song possible, and it is connecting with the crowd. There's this one wedding I'll never forget. The couple, they had a mix of like Latin, hip hop, classic party jams on their playlist. And I don't know what it is about this couple, but from the second they like made their grand entrance, it was like wall to wall energy. So I hit everything from like Bad Bunny to Beyonce. At one point, I don't know, like the groom's grandma was like out dancing everyone else on the dance floor. And it might have been Suavemente, I don't know. But something about that song brought grandma out to the dance floor and she could not stop dancing. I think there were some 20-year-olds out there that were like, we got to get another drink. We got to go sit down for a second. Woo. So, um, we went for like an extra 45 minutes that night, and it was just because no one wanted it to end. And sometimes, like, if you're a couple, like, prepare for a good time, you know? Like, this is the best night of your life. Like, it's okay to be like, one more song. Can we get one more song? And we'll give you a little extra money. We'll tip you. Our crowd is having a great time. Our friends and family, this is the best night for them too. So, as a couple, don't be afraid to just have a great time on your wedding night. And if it's got to go a little extra, go a little extra. Why not, right? Why not? All right. Segment number 3.
Your wedding energy hack. Tell us more, DJ iSizzle.
All right. So that we're talking about energy. We're talking about like pivoting. This is like today's like wedding energy hack. And that is plan for your transitions, not just your playlist. So what I mean by that is if you are making a grand entrance and you should plan maybe to have your first dance and then go into dinner. So transitionally, instead of just making your grand entrance, sitting down and then 15, 20 minutes until dinner, go ahead and just come right in, do your first dance, go right into dinner. Just go right after your dance. I'll do an announcement. So maybe a round of applause for your bride and groom's first dance. And then everybody's cheering. And then you, as a couple, just go right on over, grab your plate, go ahead and start dishing up dinner. I'll make an announcement. I say, all right, wedding party, come on over. All the wedding party, come on over. Go ahead and grab your plate, grab your meal. And then after they're done, we'll go ahead and grab family first. And then we'll go ahead and release by tables or however you want to do it as a couple. So that's one of those things, like just, transition with different things. And I think you're going to have a great time. So, all right, moving on to segment number 4.
Request Roulette. Do you take requests, DJ iSizzle?
All right, so this week's request story. Someone asked for Pony by Ginuwine. Now, I know maybe a lot of couples are a little more reserved. Maybe the crowds are a little more reserved. But this is a song that I've learned timing is everything. So if I drop this track at peak hours, first of all, Pony's like 4 minutes long, so it's kind of a longer song if you're trying to keep energy flowing and moving along. So I got a version that's a little over 2 minutes. Now, the secret to Pony is the intro. That intro is so iconic and so catchy, and it just like gives you energy the second it hits your eardrums, like energy beyond anything that you can imagine. So with that song, it's so important that you drop it right after the last song has just kind of faded out, or maybe it's just ended. Like, go like this, go. And then go. And then it hits. Key is timing in those moments. If you do it too soon, you won't get the same effect. So when it comes to songs like that, and if the energy is high, that song, it kind of brings the energy down a little bit. It's kind of known for like Magic Mike a little bit. It had a resurgence some years ago with Magic Mike movies, and it kind of became like the ultimate male stripper song. So keeping that in mind, you do have to look around at the crowd and go like, well, they're going to feel this, you know. But it is a song that you can put on. And if you have the 2.5 minute version, you'll be fine. 2.5 minutes flies on a dance floor when it's later in the evening. So that would be how to handle that song in a hot crowd, hot evening. It's all about the right timing. Make sure you do it right. All right, let's move on to segment number 5.
Track of the episode. Play us a banger, DJ iSizzle.
All right, my track of the episode is Dance the Night by Dua Lipa. Now, this song was popular a couple years ago because of the Barbie movie. Since then, it kind of took a little bit of a dip in popularity, just like all trends. Like, it's popular for 5-6 months, and then it just kind of loses. Like, okay, we've done this trend. We're good with the Barbie movie. What's the next hot summer movie for next year? So that being said, I really have always liked this song. From the first time I heard it, I would play it a lot when it first came out. And I kind of let it, you know, how new songs and all that kind of stuff, you play them out and then you just kind of forget about them for like 5-6 months. And then you hear them again. You're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that song. That's one of those songs. Levitating is also another great song by Dua Lipa. I found a really good resurgence in that song. As in, like, years ago, it was cool and you try to drop it and people just wouldn't dance to it. But then this last year, for some reason, I'll drop it and people just swarm the dance floor. So everything is timing, I think, with Dua Lipa songs. But Dance the Night, great song. Great warm-up song, you know, if you want to put it on before everybody's really ready to start partying. So keep that in mind. It is a great song, though. So I do highly recommend that. That is my track of the week.
iSizzle Music Update. Fresh drops and big news.
All right, moving on to a new segment. This is segment number 6. This is iSizzle Music. This is my my music company. I rarely talk about my music, actually, like on social media or just anywhere in general. Like, this is the first time I've actually mentioned my music on the podcast. So I try not to promote my own music, although I know you're supposed to, but I make so much of it. Like, when I'm not DJing, I'm like constantly thinking about the next song. I love to do different genres. I love to work with different artists from different genres. I feel like if I'm an open format DJ, I should be making music that is completely open format as well. So that being said, a couple months ago, I finally released the Wedding album. And this album it's a collection of tracks that I've been making. So it's more of a compilation album, I should say. Like, I've been working on these tracks for like the last 5, 6, 7 years, maybe even 8. I don't know, I know at least one track on there is like a song that I made a long time ago. But I've just been collecting these tracks, and I said, you know, let me put together a compilation with a few new tracks that comes off as like more for the wedding vibe. So it's everything from like pre-ceremony all the way to the party. So there's like 3 or 4 tracks for each of those sections. The one I put 2 versions of that on there because I have like the slow first dance version, and then I have the party dance version. So I had it remixed into more of like a dancey, like EDM style track versus like an acoustic love ballad. Meet Me on the Dance Floor. I got a remix of that one with Ebony Joy. She puts on a really nice verse on that one. That's a cool little track too. And then Don't Let Me Down, which you can see right behind me, 1 million streams officially. It's a great song, man. It's one of my favorite songs I've ever made. It's always being used in shorts, glow parties. It's just a good little track. So it's something I'm proud of as well because it just seems different. Like most music today, like all sounds the same, or like what other like type of music can you make anymore? Like I feel like almost like every genre has been mixed together. Every genre has all its best eras at this point. So what do we do anymore? Like with music, and this was a track that I felt like it's just different. So um, yes, so you can stream the entire album on Spotify and all the other major streaming platforms. Yeah, so it's got a little bit of every kind of genre on it, kind of mixed together. So yeah, check it out when you get a chance. Yeah, the Wedding album. It's a compilation of songs I've produced, I've made, I've helped with beats, executive produced. It's a lot of my favorite tracks over the years. So if you get a chance, check it out. All right, let's move on to segment number 7.
Spotlight Shoutout. Who is the best in the Northwest DJ iSizzle?
All right, tonight's Spotlight shout out goes to Brittany from BB's Event Planning. Brittany is an absolute rock star when it comes to turning your wedding into just an absolute dream. So I've worked with Brittany a few times. We talk back and forth on social media. We're always looking to work with each other again, and the times we worked with each other have really been a pleasure. And like, there's certain people like when you go to work, you see them and you're like, oh, good, they're here. Like, you just feel like you're like, oh, thank goodness. I was worried that it was going to be one of those nights where we weren't really sure who we were going to be working with, but then you see Brittany and you're just like, oh, thank goodness. So I would highly recommend her if you are a couple, you're looking for a stress-free wedding day, and you needed somebody who's experienced in event planning, especially wedding planning. She is great with wedding planning. And I know she's located out in Snohomish County, but I think she goes like pretty much like up to Bellingham all the way. I don't know. I don't know where her radius is. You would probably have to contact her. But I would highly recommend Brittany. BB Event Planning definitely is somebody you need on your team for your wedding. All right, it is time to call this episode good. My name is DJ iSizzle. Thank you so much for joining me on Behind the Booth with DJ iSizzle. This was episode 7, packed dance floors to new music drops. Man, if you are enjoying this, make sure that you make sure you follow, make sure you give it a good 5-star rating. Tell your friends if they're planning a wedding, if they're planning an event. Please leave a comment if you want me to talk about any knowledge I have within the music scene as far as DJing, different events, any tips, anything like that you need, just let me know. You can always hit me up on social media, all the socials. I'm on all the big ones. So hit me up anytime. And also, if you are a bride or a groom or a couple looking for a DJ for your wedding, you can hit me up on djisizzle.com. Hit the book now button, and there's like 4 or 5 questions on there. You just fill them out. Just let me know what date you're looking for. If I'm available, I'll let you know. We'll get you a quote, and we'll take care of you. All right. That has been my time. Let me do my outro. Until next time, keep the music loud, the energy high, and the dance floor alive. And don't forget to stay sizzling. Thank you, my fan sizzles. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Behind the Booth podcast hosted by DJ iSizzle. Remember to keep the music loud, the energy high, and your memories unforgettable. See you next time.